If I see you doing that same thing.
Okay, we're good.
I know there's something.
All right, we're live, we're ready. All right, welcome everybody to August 4th meeting. Public Works Committee, Transportation, Public Facilities. We're going to start with attendance. Ms. Phil McPartland, Elijah Luciano is here. Elizabeth Greenwood, Ray Smith, Elena Finnan, from the Float, and Kathleen, and Seth Greenwood. Okay, we need a motion to accept minutes from the July meeting. They're attached and were emailed out. So I'll accept the motion for that. Thank you, and a second to that, please. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So that's for both the meeting, both portions of the meeting, and minutes were approved from last month. Okay, and we have one town resident here.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Diane Frederick.
Diane Frederick. Make sure that we have Diane Frederick here. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start with our transportation and public facilities and highway with Ray Smith first. We did the minutes. Ray, you can start. You want to start with our resident?
We can.
Let's start with you, Diane, first. That way, if you want to stay for the whole meeting, you're welcome. But if you don't have to. So we'll start with you first.
Okay, well, I'm here, I live on Hillside Avenue, and I'm here to talk about
Address, what's your address?
1376 Hillside Avenue. And I'm here to talk about and just bring to light, although I think I had talked to some people in the past years that about the runoff into the yard and driveway, into the yard, basically my yard and the adjacent yard off the road. And it's just, the road is just so built up so high at this point over the years that it just forms a moat literally around the house in the yard. So like 8 feet into the yard, it goes all the way up to the house onto the sidewalk, and it's just, I have video, and I just got into town last, so I wasn't.
So what part of Hillside Avenue is this? Is this the part by the General Electric things, or is this the small part by Pawtucket?
It's above Pawtucket towards Rosa Road. It's just above Rosa Road.
Okay.
Across, not directly across from the Army Depot, a little bit down the hill from the Army Depot.
Okay.
So,
Just so that we have relation of.
yeah, there's a new kind of a building, a white building across from it.
Okay, yeah,
And then, so yeah, just up 3 houses up from Rosa Road,
okay,
up the hill.
just so we have a relation of what we're looking.
Yeah, and last summer, during a rainstorm when I was here, I rent the house out. But last summer when I was here, and there was a rainstorm, and it just, like a river, just flowed right into the yard. And I talked to the neighbor, and she says it's like that all the time. When it rains, their yard gets it too. And the storm drain overflowed.
Is there a storm drain on your property?
At the end of the driveway, there is, like
So-
a grate, an open grate.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so that there is storm drainage there, so
Yeah.
maybe it just needs attention.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty overwhelming. I don't think this-
Hillside was paved some years ago, so it's not a new occurring problem, it's probably an
continuing.
existing.
It's yeah. I found a letter from my father in our old files and stuff that he had written. Oh gosh, in the '60s, kind of about this issue about how the road keeps getting built up, and the neighbors sign it. I don't know if anything came up, but anyway, it was just saying, as the road keeps getting higher, our property is becoming below it, and it's just causing so much runoff in there. And anyway, I'm concerned about that.
So generally, the process would be, now that you've alerted us, and, we can go up and I can go up visually check it when it rains to try to identify exactly what you have going on.
Okay.
Hillside Avenue is hit or miss, whether it's a closed drainage system or open ditches. The water is designed to come off the road, get off the driving surface and off onto the lawns. If there isn't an improvement we can do to, so if it took a while for the water to get into the ground or into the drainage system, if there's something there where we can make improvements, we can look at that. Or come up with some ideas to alleviate or block it or divert it.
Yeah,
We'll
that'd
never
be
stop the water from coming off the road, I can tell you that. If it doesn't dry up right away, we may be able to do something that would accelerate the water going into the closed system if it is close by.
Mhm.
So, you know, in all honesty, we can't alleviate it, you know, totally, because it will run off the road. So, but we can look at improving your situation.
Okay. Yeah, it's all, I mean, I feel like somebody could drown, I could drown in that. That's,
Yeah. So,
yeah, no, I think they fell in, but.
been a little tough this summer to identify it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I will say,
But I do have some video of it, I can't,
I have your address
Send it.
and I will go there when it rains and visually look and, you know,
Okay.
so possibly you may see some stakes in the yard, because I'll use them as like how far the water went to identify before we come up with a plan, you know, I'll just pound a stake in the ground to know like the perimeters,
okay.
so,
Yeah, there used to be ditches a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's ever gonna.
Well,
I don't know if
that-
that's a
that
good
could-
thing or not,
that
but-
could be a solution too, if it overwhelms the grass area and, you know, is in danger of damaging your house, a ditch may be a solution,
Yeah,
or an under drain may be a solution, you know, obviously, we don't wanna impact the character of the neighborhood too much, but if it,
It's been impacted.
there's, you know, ways of correcting these things, or at least opening it along.
Okay, yeah, okay, that'd be great, it's in the back too.
That may be,
That comes from a house that was built after had been wooded for a while.
I don't know that we have any right away, like, as I pulled the maps for
Yeah.
your area, but that would more than likely be private property or.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I know we have a right of way along Hillside, but when I pull your plot plan, I'll investigate
okay,
exactly what the town owns and what we can do to help you out.
all right, thanks.
All right, Ray will be in touch. Go
Okay.
over there looking at your yard.
What is your name?
Ray Smith.
Ray Smith, okay,
Can I have a phone number? Well, since you have a renter there, and I would probably deal with you directly,
yeah.
can I get a phone number
Sure,
for you,
it's-
or here? You can just write it down next to your name there, because I'll have a contact for you.
Okay. Can I send a video?
Sure.
somehow?
rsmith@niskuna.org.
Wait.
No, you gotta write that on your paper. I know who I am. I hear you.
Okay.
Okay,
and then-
and I'll keep you posted as we get some rain, but, sure.
Sorry.
My email is rsmith@niskuna.org, and you can send me that video. That's very helpful.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, great.
thank you so much. Pleasure meeting you.
Likewise, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Highway crews, we're working on the tree resident request list. This is pretty much a repeat every month. So, and complaints as they come in, drainage repairs. We've caught up some on some stuff. We got a very large list on others. So, as you know, this time of year, road work takes precedence unless it's an emergency, then we address it. So that's how that works. Personnel update, we currently have 2 grounds workers positions open. One likely will be posting in the paper on the website for applicants for that job. Again, we still have that equipment operator job. With all that's been going on lately, we haven't had a chance to post it. I anticipate posting it next week. And this is just a backfill for somebody who was upgraded to a working crew leader recently. So as one goes up, we look for qualified people to backfill those positions.
Do you think that you'll have the need for resolution this week?
I probably will have to post it for, I have some applicants, probably generally the same applicants that I had last, so.
Do you want me to put tentative for?
Tentative, yeah.
Do you want me to put tentative for grounds worker too?
No, I don't think I'll put that together that quick.
Ray, if you get me the job description, I'll get it up on the website.
Okay, yeah, okay, do that. Parks crews, been working in the parks, mowing, as you know. Athletic fields, all the different green spaces. Clubs are still very active on all the facilities. No major problems to report.
And Jason and I had a meeting with football club yesterday, and they had very good things to say about you guys as far as just the facilities and
Thank you,
things
that's good.
being done there. And I thought that that was nice because we don't always get the good, so.
That's good to hear. I'll pass that along to my workers. It definitely, they enjoy to hear good things. The crews will be starting in between as things slow down. You'll see periodically a crew in the parks trimming back the trails, checking bridges, adding stone or wood chips, whatever that area consists of. So just routine maintenance that we try to get into between everything else. So if you see them back there, or if anybody has any concerns about something, it's best to just notify us so that we can address the issues. Yard waste trucks are still on schedule. With the heat, it has slowed down a little bit volume wise, but it is still all we can do to get through the zones in a day. So, but we are maintaining our schedules, and we are completing the town within a timely fashion. Sweeper is finishing up zone 4. I think he only has between like the highway garage and Algonquin area. Normally this would have been done a little faster, but we've been using them almost daily, pulling them and using them on like the bigger road out here. So we use them where we need them and go back to our scheduled roads as we can afford to let them go. Item 7, that will be on for resolution tentatively, but I think we'll do that through Lori's committee. So I'll just give a brief. We put out a mini bid for a bus. There's something similar to what we're looking for within the state that we may have a chance to get, but the mini bid there may be other vendors, so.
In a more timely fashion, because we were actually.
Right, we're looking at a build out of probably a year to 2 years if we spec it and build it. We found something very similar to what we were gonna spec that we may be able to, 100% sure. Beth's office, Lori, they all scrambled to put this stuff together to try to have a shot at getting this. So a lot of effort went into this from a lot of different people. So, but I'll let Lori speak of that. I just, want to thank the people that made this stuff happen. Paving list, as you see out front, started yesterday. They did the pedestrian path yesterday. This morning they started down by Stewart's, and our paving. I suspect that will be done tomorrow afternoon with the Knott Street project as far as paving.
That'd be good if you get it done in 2 days.
Yeah. Well, depending on how much they send a lot of trucks this morning. They'll probably get one lane done before the heat shuts them down. You know, we got extreme dangerous temperatures today. They recognize it. We recognize it. So, but I think, you know, we really facilitated, send a lot of trucks, pump it out while we can and not impact people. So, you know, a lot went into this project. This is a big project for anybody, not just a small town highway department. This is a big project for anybody. And I will say, you know, between water and sewer, highway, checking all the infrastructure, cleaning the ditches, you've got a good product. You know, it's not just a facelift. You got everything checked, and you've seen the number of people out there. A ton of work went in it.
Yeah.
And by us doing the prep work, it saves our residents a lot of money and lets us, you know, do another street or another 2 streets. So a lot of credit is due to all the people that are involved in these big projects. Number 9, surplus list. There is a copy of a surplus list on here. We will reso that. This is, I've talked about this. This is a majority of it. So like the case is our bulldozer. So we're gonna do that now in anticipation of the new one. You know, the new one's not on its way. It's gotta be built, but because of turning the revenues back in to help fund the new equipment that we're purchasing, we wanna be able to, as soon as we know what's coming in, we wanna get rid of these. What's that? Ford pickup truck, that's a parks truck. Again, I spoke with Beth, we're gonna retrofit one of the other trucks to get us through until the new truck comes in, because the bid that we got was a little more than the anticipated price. So I told Beth if we retrofit something for now that we can get by with, we'll sell this truck and help facilitate to cover the cost of the increase of the vehicle that we just agreed to purchase. So,
And just to hop on what Ray is saying, I mean, everything from all the departments, any equipment we're ordering right now is way over budget, way over what we bonded for. It's months and months and months behind in getting it here. So we've been trying to get as creative as we can to get everything up so that we're not pulling as much out of fund balance, but you'll see on ours that we're still gonna have to cover some of the stuff that they absolutely need to run the department. So I really appreciate how much Ray's thinking ahead and trying to get things sold so we can get that back in and try to keep it all evened out. This year is quite the challenge to get everything purchased.
and we appreciate everything that all of you have done to get us the equipment that we need. So to try to help out on the backside is our pleasure. We appreciate you giving us the tools we need. So, open discussion, Lomo disc golf. The signs have been installed down there. So this is another, the double-sided signs that Laura bought. One of our seasonal parts workers went down in the scrap pile, found some old signposts, straightened them out, made some brackets, and made literally a nice stand for them so you can see them on both sides. We have some over by the driving range. We posted some just past the dog park, going up into the mall area on the landfill top. So, again, you know, creative, using scrap stuff, and but they look good, and they've been installed. Tennis courts at Avon Crest. Supervisor, if you want to update where we are on that.
Yeah, we received the grant, the SAM grant, and we are looking to identify a vendor to conduct the work, and we anticipate that work should be started in the fall.
We put that out to bid, we got bid pricing on it.
We have, what's that called,
I think that's where the confusion is because we had a quote and then I was thinking we were going to need to possibly go out to bid, but then there was some discussion on single source. And then I thought maybe we were gonna do something with the Smart Buy program, but then I reached out to your guys' contact and we never got back.
he didn't, so,
So I don't know if there's a contract available on Smart Buy or not. But Smart Buy is different than piggybacking. Smart Buy is similar to a Sourcewell, which we've used. We have seen in resolutions before where essentially the company goes out to bid for any type of municipality or other agency, so that they kind of do that legwork up front. So it's still competitive. We can utilize them to make sure that we're getting the best deal for our money. But we do need to make sure that they have a contract that's available.
can you try them again?
I was just given an email, so I don't know if there's a phone number that
I
you
will
guys
try to
have.
get you, do you still have that source file sheet I gave you?
The Smart Buy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I will try to get you some more information on that,
Okay.
because when I took for bid for that project, you know, I asked, because you commonly do, because a lot of these contracts that build these type of things are on school contracts. Very common for them to be on a Smart Buy thing to streamline things and make it a competitive, true, good price, like she
Mhm.
said, you know, that protects you from overpaying, so.
Right.
I will try to get Elena some more information for the confirmation on that contract, but that's what they gave me. Actually, a vendor that does part of the project that was bid. So
There's limited sources on this type of work.
there is, but we have guidelines, very strict guidelines that we need to follow,
which we're gonna
and we need to make sure that we get it right.
Especially when grant funds are being used. So we're gonna go through the right process.
We want to do it right. You know, we have a good price. I feel it's a good price for the amount of work we're getting done. And
I'm confused about is I keep hearing bid though, we never actually went up.
it wasn't a bid, it was a proposal,
Or,
proposal for work.
okay, just making sure I fully understand.
You know, it's kind of like that round ball baseball thing. It's just remember who you're dealing with. So, yes, so all good news that it's funded, you know, we just need to clean up that and make sure that we're done on that. I think we are, but that's for Elena's determination and Beth's to make sure that we are correct and, you know, just part of the process. Purchase of leaf machine parts. So I put this on for finance approval. Had a discussion with Beth that last year parts were hard to get, and we actually went through a franchise, a vendor. I should watch what I say, right? So, a vendor. We're going back to dealing with the manufacturer of them. Cuts out the middleman. We get direct pricing, we get direct inventory, and the parts are available. So last year we had very limited parts that we could get, but we always keep backups on the shelf because if a leaf machine goes down during leaf season, we always have a backup impeller or a shroud or something on the shelf so that machine isn't there. We only get 1 week per zone, so time is very critical. We used our spare parts last year to keep the machines up and running. So the order is directly from the factory for replacement parts for what we need. And it's over my authority to buy. And also shipping on these are very heavy impellers, parts. So shipping is $500 on this stuff. So it's $500 if I order one impeller at a time and stay under and spread it out through the year. So in the end, we're saving money by one shipment
For all
And-
parts.
And we'll have the parts we need to outfit the machines for this season. The money is in the budget. It's, repairs, it's something that we do every year, so we're not looking for money. I'm just looking for permission to go above my threshold to get these ordered.
I think that's fine with this committee, but we have to.
I get that, and I can hold off, and the vendor quote is there for the parts. And when we get approval, we just call them and they'll be on a pallet heading our way,
That'll be next week.
which is timely for us, because we got, we're working on them already for October and October, so. And then I have one more thing. Laura Robinson asked me to just mention in this meeting about a proposal from Safe Streets. They have two things that they're trying to facilitate in the town. She will talk more about these in another committee and be advocating in one, but she just wanted to bring it to light. So one of them is a proposed roundabout at Wyoming and Baker. I don't know if any of you have heard of any of this stuff through the committee, but I printed a couple of these. I don't have a lot of them. I ran out of ink. So, but if you just want them as a reference. And then the other one is a bicycle lane in a sections of Lexington Parkway. She has some photos and some maps here that they'll be looking to facilitate on that as well. Do you have all that? Have you looked at it?
I'm aware of that, because I think the fire chief reading them.
Right. And I think as well, you should be involved in that process as far as the legalities and, just like plopping stop signs up, you have to look and make sure that they're warranted and that they're
Well, I
okay.
know
So,
the fire chief expressed concerns on the Wyoming Avenue, and I don't know if that'll be discussed in police and public safety later, because
So-
that's how I think it came about, but.
so the fire chief's concerns would be access, egress, access with fire equipment. I think as far as the town, you need to look at it as far as legality, if we're opening ourselves up to a hazard, if it's in its rights to there. I'm not opposing, I'm saying to protect us, it should be reviewed, that's all. Yeah, she just wanted, she wants as much exposure through the people that will be involved
Yes.
or impacted by this
I'm just
project.
aware of it, I don't know the background or how we
Okay,
got. to
Laura's
it.
gonna get more in depth in trying to pitch this and knock on doors in neighborhoods, so she just asked me to speak of it because it will affect this committee, so. If anybody wants any more of these, I have some.
I've seen that, you've seen this kind of striping in other places, right? Where you've got the drive lane.
Yep, California, I think that it was too.
No. I've seen it other places, not California. But it does say in here that they want some ballards someplace, temporary ballards at bike lane entries, that.
So like I say, I'm not real versed on, I don't know if it's a temporary thing, see if the concept works.
It's a big concrete pylon.
They make a lot of steel now.
Sometimes you'll see on like places that can be like at Target, you know how they have those big red balls in the front, like something like that.
We
They
have
could
them
be
out front of
narrow
town
and
hall.
cylinder.
Right where you want the entryways.
Yeah.
Just to protect the cars from going into the bike lane or going into the
Right.
What's really more the striping on the road, it's, you're supposed to, the driver, take a look, right?
We'll go with that.
Temporary.
So, like I say, she'll be facilitating this, just wanted us aware. She would be the one, or that committee, Safe Streets, that would be able to give you all the details. I'm sure they've done their research. They're usually pretty thorough on anything that they propose. It's just trying to get everybody to get on board with it, so. Been one. Anybody have anything else for me?
I just want to share with everybody in the committee here that I did send that email to you about soccer fields up there off of Zenner Road. Couple of items that came up. One is the concession stand. Apparently there was some issue with the roll-up door, roll-up gate, if you will. And then possibly they were speaking of there may be either a drainage issue or a sprinkler head that might be broken up there. So you haven't had a chance to even look at the email, right?
Yeah, let's make it clear you just said it.
I did just send it because I got it last night at, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock, whatever time that was. I got it late night. I was gonna, knowing we're having a meeting this morning, I would discuss it here at the meeting. And apparently there's a sink that's got some issue there, so we're just being made aware of these problems, so we'll have to look into that. See, ultimately, I guess that's our responsibility, those items, and see if we can't take care of that.
And when I read through the email, I will more than likely be requesting a contact of someone.
Yeah,
Are
Yeah.
they utilizing the fields right now, just out of curiosity, because they don't have a license agreement right now, so I'm just curious.
I don't know, he met,
Looked pretty busy last weekend.
Jason met with them up there in July.
I think their license agreement expired at the end of June.
The email started. So, the other, I'll send that email also, forward it over to you, because there was, items in there about national grid bills and stuff like that. Did you
I
get
thought that was addressed already, but I was asked about it and we came to a conclusion based on it, I just don't know if that was committed this weekend.
So, I'll send that over to you if you
Thank you.
need it. More stuff.
Thanks for the email, Bill. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Have anything for?
No?
Oh, what I did give on the Verizon topic, just, the last set of permits that came into me. I filled out the linear feet, done all the calculations for the money. I passed them on to Dan. Dan is gonna review them before I release them to Verizon because of the conflicts that we've run into with, our infrastructure and where the new stuff is going. Elaine advised that it should be a collaborative effort rather than trying to fix something that was already put in. They do have the right to put it in, but if the parties involved are willing to work together to create less work for everybody and less impact on the road, Elena's recommendation, and I don't have a problem, we still collect the fees, but Dan reviews the plans, Dan or Matt, and can facilitate with Verizon for any changes that Dan sees unfit.
So are they getting these permits by section?
They do it by
areas that they're doing?
Yeah, they'll turn in like 4 or 5 different areas at once. So like Avon was one big permit, but their mapping is very good, but they don't have the layers Dan has to, they got the right of way, they got their existing pedestals, where they need to tie in, what ones they need to connect, but
They're just gonna show them anywhere in the right of way. They're not
they're
necessarily
not
saying,
specific.
okay, that's, this pedestal is 1 foot off the road, or this is, 15 feet off the road. So that's
Where we're running
the
into
concerns.
problems.
I know in Ruffner Road specifically, there's been some complaints about that.
And we often, there's only so much room in a utility corridor that everybody has the right to be in there, but you don't have the right to impact somebody else. You know what I mean?
Like
So,
You mean some other utility.
Yeah,
in Avon, they were putting stuff over the top of our water mains or sewer mains, right?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, they've installed fiber optic, right over our water mains that, and this is how we kind of found out about this was about 3 weeks ago. Cause we're about to replace the water main, our contractor came in and got it all staked out so he knows where the utilities are. And there's this big orange stripe right on top of our blue stripe. And we're about to dig that up. And so we said, okay, hold on. You know, we got, you know, all of the Verizon guys together and the contractors together. I said, we gotta get this figured out.
And keep in mind, before they bury their cable, they go out and mark their utilities, so that
Yeah,
blue
it's
mark,
located.
yeah, everything was located, so generally, you move over away from any other utility, or you find a spot that's suitable that you can get in between. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Well, on the
When this
drawings,
first started, I met with the contractor that started Pinecrest and that. The guy, I talked with him, you know, you can't put it over critical infrastructure, you gotta try to stay close to your lines, you know. He understood that, and I don't think we had a problem in Pinecrest, I think, but I was unsure. There's like one huge contractor out of, is it New Jersey?
Yeah, Danella.
And then he hires subs, so everybody's on a different.
Yeah.
You might talk to the guy and go, no, we understand,
Communication's
and
just not
then
getting all the way down. to
it
the people
loses. And so we've come to the realization that we have to protect our own stuff. A little more legwork by the rest of us, but
right, well, I mean,
it
we
has to
gotta,
be done.
now, obviously, you have to keep an eye on them, because if they're not on their drawings, they show their locations.
It just shows one line, either on
It
the
just
left
says-
side of the
shows
road or
one
the
side of
right
the
side
road or
of the
the other.
road,
It doesn't
within
say-
the utility
Within the
corridor.
right of way, and that's it.
But Dan's been meeting with them and I think is planning to make sure that what we're learning as we go doesn't continue to happen.
Yeah, because there's, you know, they've already got plans, but they've already installed some stuff, they've already got plans together, and they're going out to start construction on some stuff, and then they've got other stuff that they're just submitting to us for review. And so the plans that, the stuff that's been installed, we've gone through and reviewed it, and we've had discussions with the contractor and identified, okay, you can't put a fiber optic right in front of our fire hydrant, we gotta excavate that out. And so I've been meeting with Tony down at the water department, going through each of these items, preparing a list. I've got these figures of, here's all the problems I have with the stuff that was already installed. And I want to include any issues that you have, Ray, as far as potentially pedestals too close to the road, or, you know, hand boxes that are, you know, right next to the road that are gonna get, you know, the plows get, you know, it's gonna catch it. So, I'm finishing, I've got one more map to do, but I want to maybe even ride with you or something, you know, run through Ruffner, the areas, and let's mark it, and this is gonna be, we're gonna give this to the contractor and say, we need to fix all this.
Are the pole boxes in, I know at the meeting that was discussed, are they up out of the ground, or are they
They
the
are,
tall?
they're all
Yeah.
up out of the ground and they're
Okay.
at varying distances. I live on Ruffner, so I'm intimately familiar with them.
Because
So
the
the
ones
pole
I seen in
boxes-
Avon are flush with the road,
So-
although they're green boxes in the lawn,
Yeah.
it didn't stick out to me. The old infrastructure though in Avon, the big huge power boxes and that, they're big, they're green, they've
Yeah.
been there forever.
So two things, there's pedestals, those are the taller things that sit about this, green, they typically sit between lots.
And then there's the big boxes like.
Yeah.
on the
And then
corner.
there's some bigger boxes that are typically flush with the ground, the pole boxes, and they're just using those for bringing in the conduit and being able to
Like
junction.
on the
with
corner of Ruffner and Mountain View, there's actually a big box. It's like, it's high like those narrow ones, but it's probably like that much of the end of the table.
So it's a big one.
And there's a couple of those around, mostly on corners. It
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
maybe they're making connections in there, or,
And those
but
are-
it's,
you said
those
you
are
said
high
not-
as well. That one on the corner of Ruffner and Mountain View, it's really close to the corner. I don't know how a plow wouldn't hit it, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
yeah.
That one I think is gonna be an
So
issue.
now's the time to identify those. Now's the time to, because a lot of the fiber hasn't been pulled yet, it's just
Right.
conduit, and they
But-
can
They can
easily
move it.
change the conduit, move it where they need to.
But I think we also need to recognize and educate that this is what underground utilities look like.
Mhm.
You know, I would say that as much hand trenching as these people. You know, the boxes may be ugly, but in all reality, they have the right to dig through every driveway and just put a small patch back in there. They mold everything.
Yeah.
They have done,
Oh, I talked to some residents in Ruffin who were very impressed by what the work
I
was.
mean,
They said
some
these
people are
out
upset,
there
and I get that, but also, I would say out of all the contractors, they have really tried to
mitigate
do the
damage.
least
Yeah,
impact, because they could literally just take a bucket and dig through the driveway.
right, but they've been, as you said, directional drilling, they've been cutting up the grass, and putting it back in place. Now it is the responsibility of the homeowner to water their own grass.
But I get, you know, that people are upset with it, but that is the way underground utilities work. They gotta have them ports to be able to keep the service up and going, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they were done badly, I just think some of them are a bit
Yeah.
of the road, that's
The
my-
location of some of the equipment probably is not the best.
So I appreciate the collaboration, working together now, going through potential issues, identifying them, relaying that information to the contractor. Then what? Then how do we
Follow up and Make
evaluate?
sure that it got done.
Yes, we gotta make sure to build that step into the process
You know,
as best as we can.
I'm already gonna be out there with Tony, cause I wanna make sure that they get everything with our stuff done.
Yeah.
And
Can
so,
you designate a person to go with him,
No, absolutely.
right?
And I think along with educating the benefits of the underground versus the above ground aerial, underground is not going to, you know, be subject to weather extremes. In our neighborhood, our electrical goes out, I'm serious,
All the
once a
time.
year for multiple days. And I'm every year thinking, I gotta buy a generator. I gotta spend $10,000 for a generator because I don't have electric for 3-4 days. I don't have any heat and it's cold. Last year it was cold at that time of year. So, you know, I think people also have to understand the benefits of having underground utilities, that they're not going to be impacted by extreme weather, which we're seeing more of, and they're easier for the utility to make repairs and updates. So there's a trade-off.
Change a lot of time in the beginning is hard for people. I mean,
I never even noticed the green boxes, and now that it's been a topic of discussion, I'm driving through town, even when I go on Ruffner, or not Ruffner, I'm sorry, Rose Hill, at some point I saw, oh, there's green boxes
Yeah.
every 2 or 3 houses, and then I went on Fox Hollow out to Win, there's green boxes every couple of houses and giant electrical boxes. People have landscaped around them and they've become more inconspicuous, and sometimes they don't landscape.
Right.
And I see them and I go, I never noticed them before,
but you
so
don't see any telephone poles, so
you don't see
there's
any
a
telephone
there's a
poles.
trade-off.
for the
Which I
wires
have.
and
Right.
the